Ollie's octopus was called to prevent a crime this one time. I was at this military base. Not a big one, but they had inside there a very valuable gem, a giant sapphire. And they used it. Okay, no talking, Lisa. Be quiet. They used it for some scientific experiments. It was made into a very powerful lens. But its value, just on the open market, was probably close to $8 million. The head of the station called Ollie and said, "Ollie, we've gotten reports that someone's going to try and steal the giant sapphire here at our facility, and we need you to come in and help us prevent it. You need to come in as a security consultant." I said, sure. They talked a little bit about rates. And once they had agreed, well, I headed that way. It's an interesting facility. It was left over from the Cold War. It was built kind of into a hillside.
What's Cold War?
It was a war that we kind of, sort of fought with Russia in like the 70s and 80s, a little bit into the 90s.
Why is it called Cold War?
Because there was never actually any, well, partially because Russia is cold, but also because there weren't any actual battles between the U.S. and Russia directly. There's lots of threats and proxies and things like that. But there was never an out-and-out war between the two countries, like one invading another. A proxy is when somebody takes your place. So the easier example I can give you is that in some states you can do a marriage by proxy, where if the two people that want to get married can't actually be there when the priest is there, they can send someone to stand there and represent them. So it's kind of like that. Anyway, the point is, there's this bunker, and it was built into a hillside. So there were a couple of vents, steam releases, and things like that. But as far as actual doors, there was just one. So it was very secure in that way, as far as keeping people out anyway. It was a big, heavy door, and they had added a second door at some point to increase the security, I guess, when they started doing more high security stuff there. So it's a very impressive facility. And then down in, despite being underground, it was very bright and airy. They just had a lot of good systems there. And the director was waiting for him. He said, "Hi, my name is Director Wilson, and thank you for coming." I said, sure. He said, "Well, we've gotten reports, just chatter on the internet, I guess, but the intelligence boys seem to think it's legit, that somebody's going to try and steal our giant sapphire lens. It's worth like $7 million on the open market. And so we wanted to bring a professional in to help us see if there are any holes in our security and help us protect the sapphire." I said, all right. So tell me about the chatter that you heard on the internet about it. I said, well, there was rumors, a discussion, I should say, of a buyer, somebody that wanted something like that. And then somebody that had been to our facility was talking about how we have this big giant sapphire, and some informal things saying that this guy, this collector, would pay top dollar for the giant sapphire. And I heard some discussion about somebody putting together a crew to do the job. They didn't really have any leads from that, unfortunately. So, yeah, we have reason to believe we think it might be in the next day or two. I said, all right, well, we've got no time to lose then. Can I see it? Where do you have it? And it's director guy said, "Oh, sure, sure, yeah, let's go over there now." He went over to the, it's like a keyed entry. And like you had to put in a combination is what I mean. And I said, all right, so the combination here is 4101. It'll change again after you're done here, but for now it's 4101. And all I saw him put in a combination, but oddly enough, he put in 4104. So I just sort of stored that away somewhere. Think about it. Like I said, most of the time, I'm giving you the combination in case of an emergency, but most of the time I want you to bring one of the staff here with you. We just like to keep 2 eyes on it at all times. I said, sure, that makes sense. So they looked at it, and it was amazing. It was really cool. It was the biggest sapphire, the biggest gem I'd ever seen. The star sapphires are made in the lab, but still, it's an impressive gem, to be sure. And they're very strong sapphires. Well, I looked around, and the room seemed pretty secure. Like a lot of these rooms, it's just one door in and out. And I went up and checked the screws on the heating register, and that was, nice and tight. You weren't getting through there without a power tool from the other side. And the director guy said, all right, so that's kind of what we have. That's what we know. I can show you some of the conversation thread that we saw on the internet about this being stolen. I said, yeah, I could review that. And, it might be best for me to just kind of stick around here for a few days and see if I can catch them in the act. The guy looked nervous, and he said, yeah, I guess that can make sense, yeah. We have some dorms you could stay in, for sure. I said, thanks. If you want to show me to there, I'll start getting work, doing some research on the internet and checking things out. Like I said, yeah, sure, I guess it's fine. And then that guy assigned one of his employees to help Ollie, go around and introduce him to people, that kind of a thing. And the guy went back out to his office. After a little while, Ollie said he needed to go to the restroom. So they went to the lobby, and the guard, waited there in the lobby. So Ollie didn't really need to use the restroom. But he knew that the men's restroom in the lobby had a vent out to the parking garage. Ollie looked up what kind of car the director used. And he snuck out the heating vent and went and he put a little tracer on the director's car. And he came back. I said, well, I guess I better head back to my room and I'll start doing some research, see if I can figure out any more information. Seems like you guys run a pretty tight ship here. And the officer said, oh, yes, sir, we try. After a little while, Ollie had been researching on the internet about the gem and these thoughts about stealing it. All of a sudden, an alarm rang out. Ollie rushed to the Saffire, and the door was already open. One of the lead scientists was there. Said, the Saffire, it's gone, it's been stolen. Oh, we really need that. We have to rebuild the whole machine without it. It'd be $1 million, maybe. I don't know. It'd be a lot. So I said, all right. Oh, excuse me. We'll find it, I'm pretty sure. He took out his GPS tracking device. Because remember, he'd put a GPS in the inspector's car. And when he pulled up the software, sure enough, the director's car was racing out of the parking garage, up out onto the street, and down the street it went. I said, guys, he had sent somebody out to that vehicle. I'm pretty sure that your Sapphire's in that car. So I got some help from the local police, and they stopped the director's car. I said, what's the meaning of this? I can come as close as I please. This is my facility. The officer said, well, and the police officer said, well, that may be a problem for him. But for me, if I have reason to think you might have done something illegal, I'm going to investigate. And we have reason to believe that, well, we've got orders to search your car, sir. I said, what? I'm the director of the facility. Why would I steal my own gem? And the officer said, I don't know, but I have my orders. I have to search your car. So the guy started searching, and the director looked very nervous. And the officer pulled down the glove compartment, and there, in a clear box with tissue paper, was that big, huge, beautiful sapphire. The director was stunned. He felt like he would have gotten up and run, but he was sitting strapped into his seat, so that wouldn't really work very well. Back at the research facility, the interim director, the person that had been the vice director, was now in charge. And Ollie, how did you know? Why on earth would you think that he would be the one to have taken it? It's so bizarre. I said, it is bizarre, but I noticed that he was being kind of cagey. He gave me some wrong information about the safe, and a few other things, and I just thought, it's not going to cost me a whole lot more to do this really well. So, as soon as the director started acting fishy, I snuck out and put a GPS tracker in his car. That's how I knew where to find him. The acting director said, wow, Ollie, that's amazing. I never would have expected him. He's been such a good leader, such a good employee, but yeah, got him red-handed. Thank you, Ollie. There'd be a lot of really good science that gets done. It wouldn't have gotten done if you hadn't have recovered the gem, the sapphire. That was the case of Ollie and the sapphire.